Now, our next topic is about cell junctions. So, in the case of epithelial tissues, we find very little intercellular materials between the cells. They are very closely arranged and compactly arranged. So, very little intercellular material is there, and they show connections, or these cells are structurally and functionally connected together, and they have cell junctions. So there are different types of cell junctions which will ensure the structural and functional link between these cells in the epithelium. So there are mainly three types of cell junctions, and these are found in other tissues also. Mainly it is found in the epithelial tissue. Three types of cell junctions. They are called the tight junctions, adhering junctions, and the gap junctions. So tight junctions, adhering junctions, and the gap junctions. So these tight junctions are found between the cells, and they will prevent movement of substances across the tissue. So they will be closely attaching. So from one layer of the tissue to the next, or one part to the next part, it will prevent the passage of substances of molecules. So it forms as a membrane, and it will prevent the passage of substances from one side to the another side. And adhering junctions are junctions which helps a sort of cementing together or attaching one cell to the next cell. So closely arranging the cells together. So such type of junctions we call adhering junctions. And gap junctions are junctions which will help in the movement of molecules, ions, small molecules, and all across the membranes, and that is one cell to the next cell. So gap junctions help in the movement of molecules from one cell to the next cell. With the help of special proteins and all, they will be helping the flow of materials from one cell to another. So there are three types of cell junctions: tight junctions, adhering, and the gap junctions. So adhering junctions, it could be, that is, it helps in the close contact of the cells. So it could be in the form of disc-shaped structures on the sides of the cells, from which fibers arise and which will help in attaching the cells to one another. Or it could be in the form of interdigitations. So you can see projections. This is of one cell and another cell. So they will form finger-like projections which will cross each other, or other projections which will be attached to each other and forming a kind of better adhesion between the cells, or contact between the cells. Okay, so in this way, three types of cell junctions are there: tight, gap, and the adhering. So tight junctions, they will prevent the movement of substances across the plasma membrane of the tissue. Okay. Next type of tissue is muscle tissue. So muscle tissue, as we discussed in the beginning itself, they are concerned with movement and locomotion. These muscles are attached to the bones, and these muscles, how do they move the bones? They contract and relax. So due to the contraction and relaxation, they move the bones. And how many muscles are attached to one bone? There are two muscles, or muscles always work in pairs. Okay, so they will pull the bone. When one muscle contracts, another one relaxes. When other one contracts, other one relaxes. In that way, muscles work in pairs, and they help in the movement of the bone to which they are attached. And these muscles, they are made up of fibrils called myofibrils. So muscles, they are made up of muscle cells which consist of myofibrils. So about the structure of myofibrils, and we will be learning in the human physiology chapter, movement and locomotion. There you have to learn in detail about the structure of muscle fibers. So here we will just discuss the types of muscles and what is the function of muscles. So muscles help in the movement and locomotion. and these are consisting of myofibrils, and muscles move due to contraction and relaxation. They contract means they shorten and pull the bone in one direction when the other muscle relaxes. So suppose here we have muscle, we are doing like this. The upper one contracts and pulls the bone, in this other one relaxes. So again in the opposite way. So this muscles, due to this action, bones are moved. Now muscles are divided to 3 types. So in our animal tissues we find muscles. There are 3 types of muscles are present. That also you are very familiar with. 9th standard you have studied. A little more detail will be studied here only. That is, first one is, they are called skeletal muscles. Second type of muscles, they are called smooth muscles. Third one is called cardiac muscles. So skeletal muscles, first one is skeletal muscles. Skeletal muscles are attached to the skeleton and they help in the movement of the bones, skeletal bones. So skeletal muscles, and can we move it according to our will? Whenever we want, we can move it. We want to walk or do things with our hands or legs, we can do it. So they are working according to our will. Such muscles we call. So these skeletal muscles are also called voluntary muscles, since they move according to our will. They can be moved according to our will. Then these are also called what muscles? Striated muscles. These muscles are also called striated muscles because they have striations or bands on them. So they are called striated muscles. So we find like this. Striations on the muscles. They are called striated muscles. They are voluntary in action. And they are attached to a skeletal system, so they are called skeletal muscles. So the skeletal muscles, they are voluntary, striated, and they are cylindrical and unbranched muscles. And also they are multinucleate. They have more than one nucleus. So they are skeletal, voluntary, striated, cylindrical, elongated, and multinucleated, and they are unbranched muscles. Now coming to second one, smooth muscles. They are also called smooth muscles. They are present where they are present. They are present in the walls of the internal organs. So they are also called involuntary muscles because we know muscles of the internal organs cannot be moved according to our will. They function whenever the need comes. They function. Okay, so they are called involuntary muscles and they don't have striations. So they are called unstriated muscles. And their structure is they are long and tapering. They are long, they are tapering, sharp pointed ends, and they have a single nucleus, uninucleate. So long tapering, uninucleate, present in the walls of the internal organs, and they are involuntary in function. They are unstriated in appearance. They are not branched also. So unstriated in appearance. They don't have striations. So they are called smooth muscles, present in the walls of the internal organs. Third one is called cardiac muscles. Cardiac muscles are muscles which are present in the heart. Walls of the muscles of the heart. And they are also involuntary muscles. Because we know heart, are we concerned about the beating of the heart? It is going on rhythmic contraction. Rhythmic contraction and relaxation is going on in the case of heart. It is involuntary muscle and they show branches, or sometimes it is seen as branching, and sometimes they have more than one nuclei. They are branched, more than one nuclei, and they have special structures called intercalated disc. So they have special structures called intercalated disc. So they show branching like this. Okay, and at certain places we find this intercalated disc. So this like structures are there which actually increase the speed of conduction of this impulse. So, fastly the heart is beating. So, that impulses should reach all the parts of the heart. So, for the fast conduction, this interconnected discs are present between the cardiac muscles. They show rhythmic contraction and relaxation, and they be throughout the life, and they are involuntary in action and show some striations also. So to some extent we can call that they are striated muscles also, more than one nuclei. Okay, so these are the three types of muscle tissues: skeletal, smooth and the cardiac. Okay. Muscle tissue, three types of muscle tissues. You can see cardiac muscle, smooth muscle and the skeletal muscles. Cardiac muscles, they show branching and they are found in the heart. So they are also called heart muscles. Smooth muscles, they are long, spindle shaped with tapering ends and unicellular. They are found in the walls of the inner organs. Then skeletal muscles, they are attached to the bones, they have striations. Now let us recall what we have studied today under the chapter Structural Organization in Animals. Animal tissues. A tissue is a group of similar cells having a specific function and origin. And basically animal tissues are of four types: epithelial tissue, connective tissues, muscular tissues and neural tissues. Epithelial tissue or epithelium. It has a free surface that faces body fluid or outside environment. Covers or lines body or body parts. Cells are compactly packed with little intercellular matrix. Epithelial tissues are of two types: simple and compound. Simple, it is single layered, there is a single layer of cell on the basement membrane, and compound epithelium where it has multi-layered, many layers of cells are arranged. Simple epithelium, it is composed of a single layer of cells. It lines body cavities, ducts and tubes. Based on structural modification of cells, simple epithelium is of three types: squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium and columnar epithelium. First one is squamous epithelium. You can see the flattened cells, thin layer of flattened cells with irregular boundaries, found in the walls of blood vessels and lung alveoli, and their function is to form a diffusion boundary which helps in the diffusion of gases. Next is cuboidal epithelium, and it is composed of cube-like cells found in ducts of glands and tubular parts of nephron. Function is secretion and absorption. And epithelium of proximal convoluted tubule PCT of nephron has microvilli. Next is columnar epithelium, composed of tall and slender cells. Their nuclei are located at the base. Their free surface may have microvilli. They are found in the lining of stomach and intestine, and their functions are secretion and absorption. Next is modification of columnar or cuboidal cells. So these cells, they are called ciliated epithelium, and these cells bear cilia on their free surface, present in the inner surface of hollow organs like bronchioles and fallopian tubes. Their function is to move particles or mucus in a specific direction over the epithelium. Next is glandular epithelium. The columnar or cuboidal cells specified for secretion are called glandular epithelium, and they are of two types: unicellular, which consists of isolated glandular cells, example goblet cells of the alimentary canal, and multicellular glandular epithelium, we find it consists of cluster of cells, example in the case of salivary glands. Now, based on mode of pouring of their secretions, glands are of two types: exocrine glands, the glands that release secretions through ducts, that is tubes, Exocrine glands secrete mucus, saliva, earwax, oil, milk, digestive enzymes, etc. And endocrine glands which do not have ducts, and they produce hormones which are released directly into the bloodstream. Next is compound epithelium. Compound epithelium is composed of multi-layered cells, and their role is limited in secretion and absorption. They cover the dry surface of skin, moist surface of buccal cavity, pharynx, inner lining of ducts of salivary glands, and pancreatic ducts. Their function is mainly protection against chemical and mechanical stresses. Cell junctions. These are the junctions that provide structural and functional links between adjacent cells. They are of three types: tight junction, adhering junctions, and gap junctions. Cell junctions, tight junctions, help to stop substances from leaking across a tissue. Adhering junctions perform cementing to keep neighboring cells together. Gap junctions facilitate the cells to communicate with each other by connecting cytoplasm of adjoining cells for rapid transfer of ions, small molecules, and big molecules. Muscle tissue. Muscle tissue are made up of muscle fibers, which in turn are made up of myofibrils. They are of three types: skeletal, smooth, and cardiac muscles. Skeletal muscle or striated or voluntary muscles. They are cylindrical, unbranched, and they are multinucleated with dark and light bands, so striated in appearance, and they are attached with bones. They are called voluntary muscles because they are under our control. Smooth muscles or unstriated muscles or involuntary muscles. They are uninucleate without bands, and they are unbranched, spindle-shaped with tapering ends, found in the wall of inner organs, and they are involuntary in action. It is not directly under our control. Cardiac muscles or involuntary muscles, known as heart muscles. They are uninucleate with faint, dark and light bands, branched, cylindrical in shape, and communication junctions called intercalated disc allow the cells to contract as a unit. So with this we came to the end of today's class. I hope it is clear for you. So as usual, I'll be giving questions and you have to write the answers for those questions in the notebook, and make sure you have written and read the textbook and studied it. Okay, so by next class these points should be clear for you. Okay, thank you.